Hi, this is Majanoni, and here is some comic book reviews today. We have Age of Ultron number 8, Ultimate Spider-Man, Infinity, Nova, Avengers, Enemy Within. Let's just go with Infinity first, since this is a free comic book. Now, this is basically just setting the stage for the 6-issue miniseries and starting in August for the Infinity. And as you can see, it's going to be dealing with Thanos. And basically, this is just Thanos' herald that's going around, and he's collecting tribute from different planets. And when I say tribute, I don't mean like Hostess Twinkies or Pokemon cards. It's it's going to be death. And in this case, his next stop is Earth. And he's going around looking for something. And when he finds what he's looking for, that's when trouble is going to start. So my guess is trouble is going to start right around that August time period. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Now, this is one of those things that's not really mandatory that you read, but it just gives you an idea of what's going on. And at the end, you do get a Thanos backup story. So you do get that as a plus. So there's that. Okay, next up is Age of Ultron Book 8. Now, this world is kind of fascinates me, and at the same time, I just want to move on. Basically, what's going on is this. I don't like this world at all. It seems bad. And bad, I mean, it's like the way the characters turned out, it's too far to the extreme, to the point where they're unrecognizable to me. So that's why I don't have that connection. I don't really want to be here, and I want to go back. And besides, I know it's going to be all this stuff is going to be gone anyway, so it's like, why even bother? Why are we still here? But that being said, this world still fascinates me because you get an entirely different outlook of what happened. After Pym got assassinated, you have the Kree Skrull War that landed on Earth, and it even has lingering effects because people are still paranoid of Skrulls. And then you had the war between Morgan Le Fay in Doctor Doom's backyard, and Thor's gone, and it seems to have caused a major rift between the heroes. You have Tony Stark getting ripped in half, literally, and that's why he is the way he is. And it's just that whole thing just fascinates me. Now, everybody thinks that those two, Sue and Wolverine, are spies. They're either Skrulls or they're spies of Morgan Le Fay. And coincidence would have it that at the very end of the story, Morgan Le Fay attacks. And it ends with a huge bang. Now, overall, the art, I think, is decent. There's some really good moments and there's some bad moments, I think. And by the bad parts, I think it all boils down to the way the characters are drawn. They don't seem like Emma Frost. I'm used to a certain look, and like this has too much clothes, and I can't get the visual of Emma that I would normally get, and by that I just mean the face. And same with Professor Xavier, Tony, Cable, even Cap. Or Colonial America, whatever he's called. All of those people are they're not the same to me, and they don't look the same, and that's where I have issues. I think I would actually appreciate this art on another story a lot more. I am really looking forward to this next issue, though, because, like I said, it ends crazy, and trouble happens big time. Okay, Ultimate Spider-Man is pretty much my book of the week. This is just this home run title, and it's the little things of the characterization that really draws me into this. It's like this is granted basically a redo of Spider-Man when he threw his costume into the garbage and quit. Well, in this case, instead of Uncle Ben getting killed, and then that forces Peter to become Spider-Man, Miles' mother gets killed while Miles is Spider-Man, and Miles says, that's it, time out, done, this isn't worth it any longer. And it's just this really interesting period of time where you're seeing a hero struggle with the loss. And it's not just a hero, this is a young kid who's got to struggle with this. And this is a deep, dark secret that he can't tell his dad, but yet, his friends are trying to help out and being supportive, and then you have even saying you gotta keep going. It's like granted, you weren't able to save your mom, but think of all the lives you've saved. You have to get off your horse. You have to get back on the horse, and continue to do the good that you're capable of. And that's why I think this whole thing is just this interesting mix of characterization, and I'm really liking it. You have great art. You have Bendis is doing a fantastic story, and I think I think we all know that eventually Miles is going to put on the costume again. And see, the thing is that Miles has to come to terms with is, yes, his mother died in his arms, but when you read her last words of look at you, look what you can do, it's not that she's disapproving of what he has become. This is something that she's proud of because she knows what he's done, and she's proud of his accomplishments of that short period of time. And the minute he comes to terms with that, that's when he's actually going to be, I think, become a truly spectacular hero. Because like Peter losing Uncle Ben, and Peter getting that with great power comes great responsibility. In this case, he has his mother's blessing in a sense, and he's going to be able to grow from that, fall back on that, and then ultimately, that's what's going to give him the strength to continue to do the fight. That's what's going to be able to allow him to lift the impossible, to overcome every obstacle. And I think this is the moment right there. And this is going to be, as long as I think Bendis keeps staying the course, this is definitely going to be one of the books to be reading. And if you're not reading it, you're crazy, because the Ultimate Spider-Man under Miles has been fantastic. Okay, I'm really briefly going to go over Nova. Basically, the art's decent. It is McGinnis after all, so if you like McGinnis, you're going to like the art. If you don't like McGinnis, you're already going to be turned off. What we have the alien race, the betrayal with the Nova Corps, the ultimate nullifier, and there's going to be a very big intergalactic conflict coming up, and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Nova is all going to be tied in together. Now, overall, it's a decent read. It's entertaining, but this is the one thing. While I'm enjoying this because I really enjoyed the space side of things, I do like the Nova character. The thing that really gets me is there's a huge difference between these two characters. Like the Ultimate Spider-Man character feels so grounded and it's so well rounded. And now, granted, this is 23 issues in, and that's only 4. But even early on, the Miles character was so well written. This one here, it's kind of like Nova's still. Well, I understand he's still in development. I feel that he hasn't done anything, or I should say, Loeb hasn't done anything to improve the character. Meaning, with Miles, I can feel something if his mom dies. You can feel the pain, you can feel his sadness. I feel there's a connection between the two. You can feel something coming from that. In this, if his whole Nova's town got destroyed tomorrow, next issue, it'd be who cares. And again, I realize that there's a huge difference in issue count. It's just that my point is, the one thing that the Nova comic is lacking is characters. We need to get a hero who's not necessarily strong in power, but a strong personality. And so far, I'm not seeing any hint of a personality in this character, other than he's young, he's flying around having a great time, he does the right thing, that kind of stuff. That's all minor stuff. I want to know more about the actual person, and in order for me to want to continue to read this, Loeb really needs to start putting that stuff in, because right now, just imagine this. This is like a nice birthday cake where you have nice frosting, very nice, pastry stuff going on top, like whipped cream going, maybe some fruit. But on the inside, it's not cooked. It's hollow, and that's what Nova is to me right now. But I'm still gonna stay in this I'm hoping everything will get better over time. I am enjoying it, but it's not that enjoyment where I can look back at it and go, wow, that was really great. And finally, Avengers Within. The Enemy Within. Now, I understand there might be a few people out there who think that all I do is suck up to Marvel and then their comics. Let me assure you this is not the case, because this is not a good Avenger book. I could not care two tea bags about what happens in this issue or this entire series. This, to me, is just not a good read. I understand, Captain Marvel, Carol, is going through some issues. She's got some thing growing in her brain, that every time she flies or uses her powers, she's getting in worse condition. But how can you have something like that with this key character who they keep throwing out there? Well, maybe Captain Marvel might be in the new Avenger movie. Hey, wouldn't that be great if there's a Captain Marvel movie? Well, how can you have a Captain Marvel movie when her brain is all jacked up and she can't fly or use any of her powers? That's so freaking ridiculous. And, she's looking for this person named Rose, and she's, putting up missing posters all over town, and then the Avengers send a babysitter for her, and whoa, look at this, bad people start appearing, and she can't really use her powers, but she does anyways, and gets affected in her mind, like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. And then Spider-Woman shoos her away. And look at these villains. Who ever heard of these really crappy people? They're the pound cakes. Really? I mean, really? And then, Captain Marvel goes to the Central Park because that's where they're telling her to go. And then, look at that. Who do you think is there to help her out? Thor. And then they fight, dinosaurs. And then they find Rose. And then it's just, where is it? I don't have it any longer. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't have it. I was looking for my Deadpool comic of bad comics, because okay, I got something for you. I'm gonna beat it with the Age of X, because this is a bad comic. Very, 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 very bad. I can't even give you a code to show you how bad it is. This is just, that's all you gotta say. This is just, it's bad. It's very, very horrible. I gotta remember to drop this. Anyways. Oh, I forgot one more thing. Now, I didn't really read the review of this. I didn't really read the whole issue. And there's going to be a big spoiler here. So, if you don't want to know about Tony Stark, just like the Facebook link, there's the Crunchyroll thing. Click on that to watch anime reviews, and you're good. Okay? This is the secret origin of Tony Stark. Now, from what I do know is Tony's mom was not going to be able to carry Tony to term, and there was a risk of Tony wasn't going to be born. So Tony travels all across the freaking globe, meeting people that shouldn't have been in existence during that time period, but yet they have to tie in all of these people. Like, he goes up to High Evolutionary. Well, certainly, Mr. Stark, I can help you, but that would assume that you didn't require your child to remain human. And I'm like, oh, really? And it's like, you just see these people where it's like, I just can't stand when they try to connect history like this. Why can't you just have this past of being a mystery of, what happened to Tony Stark just going in Vietnam and meeting the guy in the cave, and then boom, he made the armor? Why do you have to complicate things? Because what they did was they're hinting that, Tony's going around and he's collecting these people to try to help, Tony be born, and you get this collection of misfits, and they're implying that Tony had multiple parents. So if you really think about it, I understand there's two ways to interpret this. Okay? There's the dirty way in a test tube with multiple fathers and a couple dogs and an alien. Or there's the father, multiple parents in the sense that all of these people work together to figure out a way to let Tony be born. I'm just throwing it out there. There's multiple possibilities here. Regardless of the option, I am just so freaking sick and tired of this nonsense of trying to make these great, quote-unquote epic stories of secret and lost histories. Who cares about? Nobody gives two crap loads of a secret origin of Tony Stark. Was there ever a demand? Were the forums set on fire of people going, the one thing that the Marvel Universe is missing is the secret origin of Tony Stark. Obviously Joe Q does not understand the needs and wants of his fans, because if he did, he certainly would have had Bendis write a secret origin of Tony Stark. And then there's the other guy going, are you out of your mind? Why would Bendis do that? Bendis screws over the Marvel Universe. He killed Hawkeye. And then the other person's like, obviously you don't understand because Bendis is the key to the universe and is able to unlock everything. And then because of all that, then they give it to Gillen. I just don't understand. I liked my Marvel Universe pure. Meaning, he didn't have this nonsense. I really liked my DC Universe pure, where you didn't have a retcon on top of a redo on a whacked out, multi-dimensional mess up to then another retcon, not crap. I don't want any of that. I just want things to be not necessarily the way they were, but I wanted things to make it so the writers didn't try to make themselves to be smarter than they really were. And I don't think that this, I don't care. I just don't care about this. And I know there's probably a whole bunch of you out there who are going, Maginoni, I don't know what you're talking about. Gillen is writing the best story of the universe. This story is going to go down for all times, and you will be writing and we're making a video of the secret origin of Tony Stark 20 years from now because it's that great. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think what's going to happen is very few people are going to read this. Very few people are going to care about this in the long haul, because no matter what they say, no matter what they do, it's going to be utter horse crap. And you don't need a secret origin about somebody's birth. You just don't. Now, you want to say a secret origin with maybe Galactus? Heck, I'm okay with that, because that makes sense. He's a cosmic entity. And there's always that one, could be that question, well, how did Galactus ever form? Or, that's fine. Or maybe the secret origin of the Watchers and how the Watchers came and grew as a society. And then, I understand there's already that part about the downfall of the Watchers. But that everything that led up to that, give us some stories there. That kind of stuff makes sense. But the secret origin of somebody being born, let me give you a clue in case you didn't know. There was a Daddy Mr. Stark and a Mrs. Stark, a Mommy Stark. They one day went to the internet catalog and ordered a baby Stark. And then a baby in a rocket, a stork in a rocket came and dropped him off. That's the secret origin. Utter nonsense. Anyways, comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Am I right? Do you agree Tony Stark does not need a secret origin? If so, you tell me that right there. If you think I'm way off base and you think a baby needs to have a secret origin that involves aliens, S.H.I.E.L.D., and other people, and a couple of dogs, then you tell me down below that I'm way off base. Because you can't convince me in any way, shape, or form that Tony needs a secret like that. Until next time.